In a freezing Interpol office, a bank of monitors glows blue-white in the dark. Most of the world counts down to the new year. Here, agents count down to 0 hour. An intelligence analyst rubs bloodshot eyes, her coffee long cold. On her screen, encrypted chats from cracked marketplace, usernames, Bitcoin transfers, lives for sale. "We're ready," she whispers to no one. "After all this time, we're finally ready." It began with patience. For months, undercover agents had been building identities within the shadowy realms of cracked and nulled, digital bazaars where the currency was stolen data and the merchandise was human privacy. Each login, each transaction was another thread in a vast intelligence tapestry. By the time the operation was ready, the unthinkable was clear. These platforms were about to fall. But there would be no dramatic raid with battering rams and flash grenades. The battlefield was virtual, the targets were servers, and the weapons were court orders and forensic tools. This is not just a tale about websites being seized. This is about trust shattered in criminal networks, about the relentless evolution of digital crime, about how a coordinated strike became a turning point in a war most citizens never see. Welcome to Cybercrime History. January 16th, 2025, 5:32 a.m. UTC. Fingers tap nervously on a mechanical keyboard. The room is dark, except for 3 monitors casting a sickly green glow across an unshaven face. This is Null_admin, architect of digital suffering. He takes a swig from an energy drink. The can hisses as he sets it down beside 5 others. His eyes never leave the screen. These are not dark corners of the internet visited by casual browsers. They are marketplaces with search functions, vendor ratings, and escrow services. Amazon for criminals, but with Bitcoin replacing credit cards. Cracked specializes in stolen credentials, corporate logins, healthcare records, government access. Nulled offers hacking tools, malware kits, phishing templates, and tutorials that transform curious teenagers into cybercriminals. Between them, these platforms facilitate millions in transactions annually. Each sale leaves a victim somewhere, an identity stolen, a bank account emptied, a network compromised. At 5 o'clock a.m. UTC, the administrators perform routine security checks. Everything appears normal, but beneath the surface, a digital tsunami is building. "Another day, another dollar," types Null_admin into his encrypted chat window. His fingers leave smudges on the keycaps. "Just closed the healthcare database deal with vendor X, clean as a whistle." His partner responds, "Keep it quiet." A pause, 3 blinking dots. "Something feels off today, like we're being watched." Null_admin snorts. Paranoia, the occupational disease of their profession. He reaches for another energy drink. If only they knew how right that feeling was. For months, law enforcement has been watching, not from outside, but from within. In a secure facility in Lyon, France, an Interpol cybercrime specialist logs into Cracked under a carefully crafted alias. Agent Matthew Rousseau, vendor X19 to the criminals, massages his temples. The fluorescent lights hum above, giving him migraines after 12-hour shifts. His account shows a solid satisfaction rating and trusted status. Fellow criminals share techniques with him, unaware their messages are being logged as evidence. "Another day playing the villain," he mutters, scanning the latest requests. The weight of his undercover persona feels heavier each day, but the mission keeps him focused. He taps his wedding ring against the desk. 3 quick taps, his ritual for remembering why he does this. Simultaneously, in Quantico, Virginia, FBI Special Agent Diana Chen maintains multiple identities on Nulled. She keeps a yellow stress ball on her desk, squeezing it rhythmically while scrolling through forum posts where teenagers brag about their first successful phishing attacks. This is not traditional policing. It's digital method acting, sustained over months. One mistake, using official networks, revealing linguistic patterns. Failing to maintain the correct time zone would expose the operation. Through these identities, law enforcement has mapped the marketplace's technical infrastructure and begun connecting digital handles to real-world identities. The breakthrough came when a vendor made a single operational mistake. After maintaining separation between his criminal identity and personal life, he reused a username on both Cracked and his personal Instagram. Small mistake, fatal outcome. "We've got him," whispered the analyst who spotted the correlation, her hands trembling. After all this time, one mistake. With this key identity established, the rest of the network began to unravel like a cheap sweater, thread by thread. January 16, 2025, 5 o'clock UTC. Dawn breaks cold and gray over an industrial park in Eastern Europe. Steam rises from the breath of tactical officers as they approach a nondescript building. No sirens, no flashing lights, just the soft crunch of boots on frost-covered gravel. In an undisclosed European location, local police backed by Europol specialists approach a data center. They carry court orders authorizing the seizure of specific servers, Cracked's main database and transaction system. "Remember, we need these servers intact," the Europol lead reminds his team. His voice fogs in the cold air. Every byte of data is potential evidence. Simultaneously, in another country, authorities enter a hosting facility where Nulled's infrastructure hides behind layers of legitimate businesses. Fluorescent lights flicker to life, revealing row after row of humming machines. "These look like normal business servers," the manager protests. "Are you sure these are the right ones?" "That's exactly the point," the lead investigator responds. Her voice is ice. "They're designed to blend in." As the physical infrastructure is being secured, digital specialists execute the second phase. Domain registrars redirect traffic from the marketplace's addresses to law enforcement seizure notices. The familiar interfaces of Cracked and Nulled are replaced with the emblems of the FBI, Interpol, and Europol. This website has been seized as part of Operation Talent. For users attempting to access these platforms, the effect is immediate and chilling. Their sanctuaries have become traps. In select locations, authorities execute arrest warrants against key targets, the administrators and developers identified through months of investigation. "I thought I was untouchable," one suspect mutters as he's led away in handcuffs. He blinks rapidly in the sudden daylight, having emerged from a basement apartment where the windows were permanently covered. "How did you find me?" The arresting officer simply replies, "No one is invisible forever." By noon UTC, the operation has achieved its primary objectives. The marketplaces are down. Key personnel are in custody. The servers are being forensically imaged. In the sterile environment of a digital forensics lab, the real work begins. Fingers fly across keyboards. Screens flicker with code. The air smells of electronics and stale coffee. This is where crimes are reconstructed from digital dust. The seized servers contain communications, transaction records, user profiles, and source code. Analysts work methodically through encrypted messages, revealing negotiations for data breaches, discussions of exploits, and the planning of cybercriminal campaigns. They thought their messages would remain secret forever, a forensic analyst says, her screen filled with recovered conversations. Her eyes are red-rimmed from 20 hours without sleep. Now we're reading their strategies, their fears. She taps a key and another conversation appears, a criminal boasting about access to a hospital network. A second team traces cryptocurrency payments through a labyrinth of wallets and exchanges. On their screens, a web of transactions spreads like a digital spiderweb, intricate, complex, but no longer invisible. But the most valuable discovery is the user database itself. Thousands of registered accounts, many with details that could lead to identification. Law enforcement now possesses what amounts to a map of a portion of the cybercrime ecosystem. For cybercriminals who thought their anonymous handles were impenetrable shields, the reality is dawning. Their digital fingerprints are now in the hands of authorities. By February 2025, the impact of Operation Talent ripples through the cybercrime economy like a shockwave. In underground forums not yet touched by the operation, panic spreads. Who could be trusted? Which platforms might be compromised? Which vendors might be cooperating with authorities? "I've been in this game for 7 years," writes one veteran vendor on a remaining forum. His posts always end with 3 exclamation marks, a digital fingerprint he can't seem to break. "Never seen anything like this. Trust is gone. Everyone's a potential Fed now." The price of stolen credentials rises. Banking logins that once sold for $50 now command higher prices. This is not inflation, it's scarcity. The supply chains have been disrupted. Attack patterns change. The UK's National Cybersecurity Centre reports a noticeable drop in credential stuffing attacks against financial institutions. Without easy access to fresh data dumps, opportunistic criminals lack the ammunition for their campaigns. Sarah Chen, CISO at a major healthcare provider, reviews her threat dashboard with cautious optimism. She twirls a pen between her fingers, a nervous habit from her days as an emergency room nurse. "For the first time in months, we're not seeing constant credential stuffing attempts," she notes. "Our patients' data is safer today than it was 3 months ago, but for how long?" For sophisticated threat actors, Operation Talent represents something else, an opportunity to evolve. By March 2025, the cybercrime ecosystem begins to adapt. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the digital underworld is no exception. The first response is fragmentation. Rather than rebuilding large, centralized marketplaces, vendors establish smaller, invitation-only platforms. Ghostgate emerges, requiring prospective members to submit proof of trust, exclusive stolen data, or a voucher from an existing member. "You want in?" a message on an encrypted channel reads. The text blinks on a screen in a darkened room somewhere in Eastern Europe. "Show us something valuable. Prove you're not a cop." Communication shifts to more secure channels. Europol notes an increase in privacy-focused tools like Freenet and Ricochet. Transactions become more personal, more difficult to track. Some vendors demonstrate remarkable resilience. Shadow Librarians reveals they had anticipated Operation Talent. They maintained backups of critical data on decentralized storage platforms beyond the reach of conventional seizure methods. Within weeks, they begin reconstructing portions of the lost marketplaces. Law enforcement anticipated this adaptation. Operation Talent was never expected to end cybercrime, only to disrupt it, to force it to evolve in ways that might make it less efficient and less profitable. The question becomes, who will adapt faster? The criminals seeking new ways to operate, or the authorities developing new methods to track them? By May 2025, cybersecurity researchers begin publishing analyses of Operation Talent's impact. While acknowledging the temporary disruption, studies caution that underground markets are inherently resilient. Historical precedent suggests eventual re-emergence, albeit with increased fragmentation and security measures. The FBI releases information detailing aspects of the operation, how undercover identities were maintained, how blockchain analysis connected digital personas to real individuals, how international frameworks enabled synchronized action across jurisdictions. For corporate security teams, the lessons are valuable. Major platforms integrate insights from Operation Talent into their threat intelligence systems, allowing them to reset passwords for compromised accounts and strengthen defenses. "Before this operation, we were fighting separate battles," reflects a senior law enforcement official. He runs his finger along a world map in his office, tracing the connections between digital points. "Now we know how to fight a war." As 2025 progresses, the cybercrime landscape continues to evolve in response to Operation Talent. Some adaptations are predictable: increased use of privacy technologies, or rigorous vetting of marketplace participants. Others are more concerning: sophisticated phishing kits that bypass traditional defenses, decentralized platforms resistant to conventional takedowns, new money laundering techniques that obscure cryptocurrency trails. Law enforcement evolves in parallel. The success of Operation Talent leads to increased focus on digital undercover operations, specialized blockchain forensics, and dedicated units for marketplace infiltration. For ordinary internet users, the impact is largely invisible. They don't see the battles being fought in digital spaces. They only know that for a brief period, certain types of cybercrime became less prevalent. But for those who understand the significance, Operation Talent represents something profound, proof that even in the seemingly ungovernable spaces of the internet, coordinated action can have meaningful impact. The digital world is not beyond the reach of law. It simply requires new approaches. In the ongoing contest between those who build secure systems and those who seek to compromise them, Operation Talent marks not an end but a turning point. The cycle will continue, but the rules of the game have changed. May 15, 2025, 3:57 p.m. A teenager sits in her bedroom, LED lights casting purple shadows across her face. She's just received a message on Discord. New marketplace. Exclusive invite. Better security than the old ones. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. She's curious, tempted. Meanwhile, in data centers across the globe, Operation Talent's successor is already being planned. Agents are creating new identities, building new covers, preparing to infiltrate once more. As you read this, your own credentials are being traded somewhere in the digital underground. Your bank login, your email password, your identity. The question isn't if another marketplace will rise. The question is, will it be selling you? For more thrilling stories, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to the Cybercrime History channel. Thanks for watching.